Welcome to a new episode of the Wool and Twine Fiber Studio Knitting Podcast. My name is Jule and I'm the dyer and maker behind Wool and Twine Fiber Studio, which is a small creative space located here in northern Germany where I play with botanical dyes and natural yarns. It's been a while, so if you're a returning viewer, welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. I have not recorded a video in quite a while, and that is because I've been traveling for the past 2.5 weeks, and I really hope that I can make another dedicated podcast episode about the travels, because it has been very special, and I was actually traveling for work to meet most of my spinning mills that I work with. So that was a really cool time. But today, in today's video, I want to share the new yarn collection with you that I've been working on kind of prior to this trip mainly. And then, I ended up getting everything ready and rinsing everything just now. So this month's collection is a bit delayed, so we're not having a collection in April, but rather in May. And I just hope that you are going to love it as much as I do, because we have a lot of specials in this episode. And yeah, I think for those of you who are new here, I like to make these videos to show you the naturally dyed colorways that are going to be available. At the end of the video, I'm going to share all the admin things and all these things, but in general, I think it's the best way to showcase colors and also, share a bit more of the backstory of the yarn bases that we'll have. So that's why I like to do these kind of preview videos, and yeah, usually I just put some timestamps down below just so you can only watch the parts that you're interested in, and you don't have to watch everything if you're not into that. But I highly recommend always sticking to the end with the admin section, because I'm going to announce all the bits and bobs that are relevant for you if you are interested in shopping this collection. And so yeah, that's all coming in the end at the admin part. And since we're actually having a cheeky little spring clean sale as part of this collection, I hope that you are going to be interested in that maybe, because yeah, there are a lot of things in the making at the moment that I'm working on, a lot of very new and exciting things, and those require a little bit of space, to be honest. And in order to make some space and also just treat y'all all a little bit, I just thought I could have a little sale on some selected basis. But more on that later, just so you know already. But for this episode, let me start giving you a bit of an overview on what we're gonna restock in the May collection. For the May collection, there will be 2 main yarn types in 2 different weights each. And those of you who've been following for a while will be familiar with one of the yarn bases that we're restocking. And that one is our summer yarn blend Linnen, which is a blend of natural flax fibers and blue-faced Leicester sheep. I'm going to go over this a bit more in depth as soon as we introduce the base, but it's going to be available in 2 weights. So it's going to be the fingering 4-ply weight that is 350 meters per 100 grams, and then there will be a DK weight version at 230 meters per 100 grams. Linnen has been around for, I guess, 2 years by now, if I'm not mistaken, and it's our favorite transition spring and summer blend, and it has, I think at least it has grown into a very beloved base that you seem to really like, so I'm super happy that I got it respun. And what's so good about this is that each spin, because I'm using a natural fiber blend, obviously there are no artificial fibers that you're going to find on this channel, but since it's not only natural fibers but also natural colors that are blended together, every batch that I get spun is actually very unique and special and different. Every time I order this yarn from my mill and get it respun, it actually turns out different, and I never know what happens until it lands on my studio doorstep and I actually get to see the color, which it's both kind of daunting but also exciting. So yeah, with linen, it's always very interesting and fun to see how it turns out each year. And that is because there are 25% linen fibers, unbleached flax fibers, and those vary in shade depending on how the weather has been. And same goes for the small amount of blue-faced Leicester, like naturally colored blue-faced Leicester fibers that are in there, because those apparently also change from year to year and from shearing to shearing, because depending on the weather conditions, the colors can be very different, and also the age of the sheep play a role in that. So yeah, and I kind of love that it's kind of unpredictable and a bit wild. So yeah, that's what I really like about it. And this year's shade is just, I personally really like it. So I guess without further ado, I'm going to start sharing this with you. So this is the natural shade of this year. I'm showing it on the fingering weight 4-ply version here. And it's a warmish, a little bit more warmish undertone than last year's, I would say, and also a little bit lighter. So it's kind of like a grayish. That's how I would describe it, probably. And I really, really like it. So yeah, this is the natural state of linen. And actually, I do have a full video on this base from, I think, around 2 years ago or even 3. I don't even remember when we had it the first time, but I make sure that I'll link it in the little description, and also in the little eye, and also in the description box down below, because in that video I also share some samples and swatches and all these kind of things. But what I can say in general is that linen is a very cool and unique blend because of the flax fibers in there. And I don't know how much you're familiar with how natural dyes work, but when I dye something, I have to pre-treat the fibers. That's so-called mordanting. That's the pre-process before the dyeing even begins, and that is necessary because natural dyes cannot stick to a fiber without any help, because they're not meant to be or designed to be dyes. So they kind of need this little bit of an extra step in order to be able to stick to the fibers permanently. And this mordanting step, there are different ways on how to mordant different types of fibers. And since I mainly dye protein-based fibers, so wool, there is not the same effect that you get on the cellulose part, which flax is a cellulose fiber. And since my process is mainly for protein fibers, the cellulose reacts differently to that type of dyeing method that I do and to the mordant that I use. And the result is that the flax fibers do not accept the dyes as intensely as the protein fibers do, resulting in a slightly heathered effect. And at first I was like, is this something that bothers me, or do I want to change my process? But honestly, I've started to just really love it because it makes the colors really unique. I'm gonna just give you an example here. I'm going to share the colorways in a second, but I don't know if you can see, but the heathering is really special. It really is not just one solid color. It has all of these little flax flecks, well, that word is really weird, but you know what I mean, these little light flecks of color going through the shade, which I think is just really cool. So yeah, this is linen, and I just absolutely love it. It's very unique, and I think it's not only perfect for summer knits but also for transitional knits. So for example, for a slightly more lightweight cardigan that you could wear over dresses or whatever while it's still a little bit chilly out. So I think that's the perfect use case for this yarn, apparently. So yeah, and in general you can also use it for very nice summer tops and flowy garments, because it has a really nice drape. So yeah, I have a whole pattern suggestion list that I'm also going to link down below and somewhere in the corner over here, where I have a bunch of pattern ideas for this yarn, both for the 4-ply and the DK weight version. And I hope this way I can give you a little bit of inspiration on what you can do with this yarn. I should maybe also mention it's not like your like 100% plant fiber yarn. It's not like a 100% linen or like cotton yarn in its behavior. It still has a wool-like behavior, but I would describe it as with a slightly cooler touch to it. It's not as warm and woolly as some 100% wool yarns are. So you can feel the linen content, but it's not stiff by any means or too grippy, which can sometimes for me be a bit too much. Like if I have too much of a cellulose content in a yarn, it's not necessarily my favorite feel. I do find it very interesting to use linen yarns and all these kind of things, but generally I think I would gravitate more towards a blend of flax and wool, which apparently also sounds odd because you would think it's very warm in the summer, and well, obviously it's warmer than 100% linen probably. It's still, because of the wool being very breathable, it doesn't really feel sticky or hot, to me at least. So, I mean, I'm a person who generally overheats quite quickly, but I think especially the fingering weight version can be used for summer tops easily and can make a very beautiful like drapey project. So without further ado, let me start sharing the colorways with you. So as mentioned before, we have the undyed greigey shade. I would say it's almost like a grey with a bit of a beige warm undertone. So very, very wearable and very elegant, I think. I'm showing all of the colors on the 4-ply fingering weight base right now, and I will just have everything also on the DK weight base. So this is the undyed shade. Next up we have almond, which is a warm, nice beige that is just very versatile for example, colorwork knits or as a base color if you want to combine it with something and you want a little bit more warmth than the undyed shade has, then almond is the perfect choice, I guess. So this is almond. And here you can already see the slight variegation already. So yeah, that's what I mean by the slight heathering effect, which I just love. So yeah, undyed and almond. Next up I have, staying in a slightly more neutral-ish category, I have a couple of brownish shades. So at first we have this one. This one is Acorn, and it's a relatively neutral golden brown that has a little bit of a reddish undertone, but not too much, I would say. So this is Acorn. Very lovely and warm and versatile, I think. Next up we have Cedar, and this is more of a reddish undertoned brown. So it's a little bit more rusty in undertone in comparison to Acorn. Is it visible even? I'm sorry, the light is a little bit crazy today because we have a lot of like a very sunny day with some clouds, so it's a bit like jumpy. But yeah, I think this shows it pretty well. So this is Acorn and this is Cedar. Next up, in the slightly more brownish neutral category, we have a slightly darker tone, and this one is called Chocolate, and it's a relatively dark reddish brown, but you can see the heathering super well in this one, I think. Whoops, focus. So yeah, this is so cool. I just love the heathered effect so much, so this is just exciting me a lot. So this one is Chocolate. And I'll try and hold up the different brown shades all together, if I can somehow. So here we go. And oops, I'm sorry, this is a bit of a mess. But yeah, we have almond, then acorn, cedar, and chocolate all next to each other. Oh, and maybe I should also add the undyed so you can see the different shades. So yeah, these are the neutrals. Next up, let me transition into the more yellowy and green shades that I absolutely love. So first off is this one, and it's like a very nice golden mustardy yellow, and this is called Harvest. And it's, as mentioned, it's this nice warm golden yellow. I really like this one. It's almost like a mustard, but maybe a bit more muted than a mustard, but it has this golden hue that I just really like. So yeah, this one is called Harvest. Next up we have two more greenish, yellowish shades, and this one is called Fern, and it's more of a olivey, but a little bit more green than an olive. So this one is called Fern, but it's still relatively yellowy. And then lastly we have Sencha, which is a minty grayish undertoned green. So this is very muted and elegant, I think. So this one is called Sencha. Then we have Fern, and just for comparison, this one is Harvest. So I hope you can see the shades quite well this way. I'm still working on ways on how to, show the colorways the most accurate ways, and I think this is very, very, very close to how they look in real life. So here we go. These are the three green yellowy shades, and next up we will go to the like purple pinkish kind of shades. So let me start with three, the most light and most neutral ones. This one is called Powder, and it is a very soft pinky beige, I would say. Just a soft wash of pink over the beige base, and I think it's very beautiful. Next up we have Soft Rose, and this is just a slightly more saturated, warm undertoned pink. And then lastly we have Petal, which is a slightly more coolish undertoned pink, but still very muted and soft. So just so you can see them side by side. So this one is Powder, the least saturated one. Next up we have Soft Rose in the middle, which is the warm undertoned one, and then we have Petal here, which is a bit more cooler in undertone, as you can see. I hope this is visible, but yeah. These are the slightly more neutral pinkish shades. And now we are transitioning into the slightly more saturated ones, starting with Dahlia, which has become a favorite over the past months on other bases, so I thought I would give it a shot on linen as well. This is a very like brickish pink, I would say, with a brick red undertone. Relatively warm, very pretty, I think. Then next up we have a very season appropriate pink called Rhubarb, and this is a bit more true pink, less reddish in undertone compared to Dahlia. Side by side here for you. But yeah, Rhubarb is a bit more actually pink in comparison to Dahlia, which is a bit more brick reddish in undertone. So yeah, those are those. Next up we have this one, and this is called Berry Jam, and has also been a favorite on other bases before. So this is like purpley pink, pink undertoned purple, I would say. Also very lovely with the heathered effect, I think. So I really like this one. So yeah, this one is Berry Jam. Next up, we have another purple, and this one is also seasonally appropriately called Hyacinth, and it's a cool grayish purple. That's how I would describe it. Back here maybe, yeah. Very pretty, relatively cool in undertone, and I know that some of you request more cool tones, which is not easy to do with natural dyes. And I personally just love warm tones, but I try to always add one or two more cool tones if I can. So yeah, this is the Hyacinth colorway. And last but not least, we have this one, and this is called Bramble, and it is like a dark burgundy type purple, or yeah, burgundy red purple maybe. So yeah, this is called Bramble. You can really see that I was very inspired by like spring flowers and berries. Berries are my favorite fruit to eat, so I'm very excited about them being available again this time of year. So this is the Bramble colorway. And it might be one of my favorites from the collection. I know I shouldn't say this, but personally I'm very tempted and I would love to snag a skein or two, but no, I will keep them for you. So, but just for your comparison, let me also hold up the pink color family up for you. So we start with Hyacinth on this side. Next up we have Dahlia, then in the middle we have Rhubarb, then we have Berry Jam and Bramble on the side. So these are the more purple, pinkish and berry toned shades. I hope this is helpful. I'm always trying to hold them up side by side so you can have a bit of an idea of the colors. But yeah, those are all of the shades that we have on the linen base. As a reminder, they are not only available in the 4-ply fingering weight version, but also in the DK weight version, that's 230 meters per 100 grams. So yeah, it's available on 2 yarn weights, each color. So I hope there will be something for everyone. But yeah, that was it about the colorways. So let me start sharing about the second base that we are going to have in this collection. So for the next base that we are going to have, this is a very special one, and it is a new limited edition yarn. For those of you who are new here, sometimes I have those, like all of my yarn bases are custom spun for Woolen Twine Fiber Studio. We've made this transition over the past years, and I think at some point I also want to have like a dedicated celebration, maybe in the summer if I manage, but I want to have a big like announcement about the fact that we have fully transitioned into completely custom spun yarns, which was a project that was in the making over years, because if you start getting custom spun yarns, you kind of, at least for me, there is kind of no way back, because it feels very special to have created it from scratch. And but of course I also had a couple of yarns that were still stock yarns from my stockists, or not my stockists, by my suppliers, and so it took a while until I had fully transitioned into having all of my stock that is currently available or currently in my storage to have that one custom spun. So yeah, all of the yarns that I have are custom spun just for Woolen Twine. So this one is also a custom spun one, obviously, and it's a limited one because, you know, sometimes I can get inspiration from a certain type of fleece or a certain need that I have that I would like to fill the gap in my wardrobe with, or, you know, there are different types of inspiration, and with this one it was actually one of the fibers in there that really inspired me and that I wanted to use very badly. And when I had some availabilities, I was like, okay, let's make this into a yarn. And without further ado, let me start sharing it with you. So this is the new limited edition, and this is a new yarn called Onyx, and it is so cool. and so unique. And the main component that I was inspired by was Gotland fibers. So this one has a batch of the darkest Gotland sheep fleeces available that I could find, has it in it. And Gotland is a very special fiber because it has relatively long staples, long and very sleek staples, which also makes it tricky for some machinery to spin, and so it's always advisable to add another fiber to a certain percentage depending on what you want to do. And for me, because I knew I had worked with Gotland quite a few times before, and I knew that it has this halo. You can see that in the skein maybe. It has this very special halo that's almost like fuzzy. I don't know if that's visible on camera, I hope it is. But it also has this mesmerizing sheen. That's also the reason why I wanted to call it onyx, because it literally has this like almost like a mineral type of shiny surface, which is just really cool. And it is, Gotland is so sleek and so long in staples that when you spin it into a yarn, it's not necessarily very voluminous or fluffy. It's really sleek and dense in a way, but it has beautiful drape due to that. So, and at the same time, it's also with the halo, it doesn't feel like sleek in a way. It's a very interesting fiber, I would say. So if you've never worked with it before, I highly, highly recommend trying it out because it's very special. But I knew that because of the sleekness of Gotland, I wanted to add another fiber that would bring a bit more bounce and a bit more, volume to the yarn, so it's not too sleek. And that was the reason why I added in 50% of Swartless sheep, which is a sheep breed that originated I think in the Netherlands originally. And it is also dark in fleece. But after all, I was very surprised because from what I knew, the Swartless sheep, they do have a bit of brownish undertone more if you look at them. And I expected the yarn to turn out like a dark tone, but with some of a brownish undertone. And I was quite surprised that the Gotland kind of overpowered the shade with its like dark slate gray tone. So this is actually very, very anthracite gray. And it doesn't have a lot of the sheepy brown, which a lot of very dark fleeces usually have. So yeah, got really excited when I had it, that it's so dark and still so lively though, because you can see there's quite some heathering going on still, and it's not a flat type of dark yarn. It's more of it has the halo, but it's still very shiny in a way. So yeah, I don't know if you can tell that from the camera. I hope you can, because it's just very, very cool. So yeah, quite shiny and almost like a bluish gray anthracite undertone in comparison to, for example, our Shetland Welsh Mountain, which is even darker in tone for sure, but it's warmer. So this one is colder in undertone. I don't know if you can see it if I hold it back here. It's very dark and very cold in undertone. So yeah, that was a very pleasant surprise, and I just absolutely loved working with it, because apparently I have some samples to show to you in this new yarn. Oh, sorry. I should also maybe mention, I got a batch large enough to spin 2 yarn weights. So we have this one, which is the fingering 4-ply weight version. And then we have this one, which is the DK weight version. And it has the same meterage as our linen blend. So it actually is a 230 meters per 100 grams for the DK and 350 meters for the 4-ply. However, what I find very interesting is this is also the same meterage as our Shetland Romney base. And that one is relatively plump due to the high amount of Shetland in there. And I find that I have to go at least half a needle size smaller for this blend compared to Shetland Romney, which is very interesting because it shows that swatching is extremely important, because even though this might have the same meterage as some of my other yarns, it doesn't have the same gauge. So, and that is because the fibers have such a different character, and that is because the Gotland is more sleek and it's less plump. And for example, where I'm with my Shetland Romney base, I just knitted my Midland cardigan by Laura Penrose out of that one. I think it should be in some podcast episode. I'll try to find and link it for you. That one was knit on 4.5mm needles for the DK weight version, and it was not too dense, but it was a good dense fabric, I would say. This one, I would knit with 3.75 to 4 max, because otherwise it gets a bit, not wholey, but I think it's nicer to have the fabric a bit denser because it's just not so plump. So yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense, but I just wanted to share how interesting it is that some fibers just behave so differently that they result in a completely different gauge despite the same meterage. So your daily reminder to swatch. But yeah, this is the yarn. Oh look, it looks like a little heart like this. Shows how much I love it. But yeah, I guess I'm going to start sharing the samples with you. One of them is finished, one of them is not, due to my lack of time while I was traveling. But let me show you the first one. And this one is, you can see the fabric also quite well in this one because it's a stockinette stitch project. This is the home shirt jacket by Camry Cutler of Golden Hour Knitwear, and it is kind of like a knitted shirt, and I really love the concept. You might have seen the work in progress on my Instagram, but I just thought it's so cool because it's a very unisex type of fit, and to actually showcase how it fits, I asked my boyfriend to ever so kindly model this for me, so I'm definitely going to insert some clips of him wearing it and how it fits a male body shape, because I think this is something I don't do very often on this channel, and I wanted to be a bit more inclusive here. So yeah, this is the home shirt jacket, and I think it's just perfect in this yarn. Yeah, absolutely wonderful, and I'm in love. It has this is like one of my favorite features. It has even like proper sleeve finishings as if it was a shirt, like even with a button. Isn't that so cute? So yeah, I really love the proper shirt cuffs, so I think it's a very unique feature too. So yeah, that's how they look, and it has this double knit folded collar with these cute little edges here, and also a double folded button band, and it has a very cool, I don't know if I can show that here, but yeah, it has a very cool shaping at the bottom. It's a bit rounded, so it actually shapes, I think you can see it better here. It really shapes like a proper shirt, which I really liked. So yeah, very, very cool project, and I really liked it. So yeah, this is the home shirt jacket. Absolutely wonderful pattern. It also features a little I-cord at the end, which I found very fitting for this type of garment. So it's very sleek and still a very polished finishing. So yeah, this is how it turned out. I'll make sure to insert some clips of my boyfriend wearing this one. And I will also make sure to link my Ravelry project down below, where I add all of the details about sizing, amounts of yarn, and all these kind of things, just for your reference, so you can check for yourself. The next sample is currently still a work in progress, because I wanted to knit this during my trip to the UK. And the thing is that I definitely overestimated how much knitting time I would have. I knew that I would be traveling by train quite a bit, but still, yeah, there was a lot to process and a lot of things to do, so I kind of didn't knit as much as I thought. So please excuse that this is still a work in progress. But it also had to, like, I also delayed a little bit because I realized that my initial vision that I had, I wanted to have a bit more unisex, very sleek sample as of the shirt jacket. And I also wanted a slightly textured one, but just a little bit, because I knew that the dark yarn wouldn't showcase texture super well. So I thought I would do a certain pattern, and I swatched for it, and for some reason the stitch pattern was still too much of a texture because it was really kind of muted down by the halo of the yarn. And together with the dark color, it didn't really show, and so I decided to swatch again. You know, I was kind of like looking for patterns back and forth, and I still wanted something to keep it with the unisex type or like vision that I had. I wanted to have a pattern that's available in different sizes that could also be done for male bodies. So yeah, it was a bit of a journey to find the right pattern, and after all, I went with an absolute classic. So this is the Anka sweater by Petite Knit, and this is also available in kids and men's sizes. So this is the female, like designed to fit a female body size. So this is for me, but it's also available for men's sizes and kids too, and it's incredibly simple. So that's also something I wanted to do more with my sample choices and showcasing my yarns, is doing more beginner friendly patterns, because I know that because I have been knitting for so long, sometimes I kind of lose the feeling of how it would be for someone who doesn't have all the experience, and I definitely want to be more inclusive there too, and also feature a few more patterns that are a bit more simple to knit. So this is definitely one of those. And yeah, it's the Anka sweater by Petite Knit. It has this very simple round yoke that just consists of ribbing and then some simple increase rows in between the ribbing sections. And then it's knitted in stockinette stitch. Don't know if you can see. Yeah, it's knitted in stockinette stitch, and then it has some simple stockinette stitch sleeves, which is what I'm working on at the moment. I have also put my body stitches on hold because I think I'm going to go for a slightly cropped version for myself. So yeah, I've just put the stitches on hold here. They roll up quite a bit, so that it's actually not that short. And then I'll try it on once I finish the sleeves and then decide on the final length. But this is how it looks so far, and it's just extremely simple to do. It was a very good project for my trip because, as mentioned, a lot of things were going on. I met a lot of people and it was just a lot to process. So I really wanted a project that would not require too much brain space, and this was perfect. So there's a little bit of puckering you can see after I've finished the ribbing section, but this will definitely block out, I'm sure. But it also shows the fabric quite well, even if I do it like the ribbing portion of the top part, it's still like very nice and squishy and not like too stiff or anything. So that is what I definitely really like about this yarn, that it's, even though the Gotland is a very sleek fiber, this Warbless has added quite some bounce to the fabric, so it's not too stiff or like too sleek. So here you can also see the fabric again. It's super nice and halo-y. I think my camera is a bit over, like it's a bit had some issues with the dark colors, but yeah, this is how it looks. And yeah, I guess I'm going to try and finish this one ASAP. I also hope to have a podcast episode recorded very soon because I really want to show some things that I also acquired at Really Good Edinburgh and on my trip. So yeah, but this is my Anka sweater in the new onyx yarn. And yeah, I guess that is it about this yarn. As mentioned, it is completely limited edition, so that is always the case with these like naturally colored yarns. As mentioned before when I was talking about the linen blend, they turn out different every time. So whenever I get a new spin, they might not be the same color, and that's why I'm only having them like very rarely, and this is definitely a limited edition, so once it's gone, it's gone. So if you're into this really cool shade of charcoal gray, then now's the time to get it. And in general, I would say it's a good time to shop this particular update because we are going to have a couple of changes over the summer in some things, because we're kind of like required to change shipping prices. And I know I've been talking about this a couple of times before, and that it has been in the making for a longer time. But I tried to put it off for the longest time because I know this is not a really fun thing to do. But over time, ultimately, we will have to change a couple of things in the pricing and also potentially in some of the yarn pricings. So that's going to be for the summer to be executed. So I hope that we can keep, for this update, we will keep prices and shipping at the same rate as it was before, but we might have to change it by June or July. So it's a good chance to shop now. And the same goes for our backstock sale, because I thought while we're still able to keep the prices at the point where they are now, I thought it's a good coincidence that we need space in our shelving, and at the same time I wanted to be a bit more inclusive and, you know, give the option of shopping some yarns at a reduced rate before we increase. And that now brings me to the admin section of this video, where I share a couple of things all around the launch date and all the details. So admin wise, first of all, I should tell you the launch date, and the launch date of everything is the 2nd of May, 8 p.m. CET. So that's when all of these things that I just showed will launch in our shop. And I will also have a little bit, as mentioned, a little bit of a sale. Some selected bases, not our newest ones, but some selected older bases that we currently have in stock will be available at a reduced price. So we will put some of the bases at 20% off, which is quite a bit of a discount, I would say. And I don't like to do these discounts often, but I thought just because we have so many projects for the summer, we really need some space. And some of the projects will also require me to keep some of the things for a little bit. And okay, this is very like cryptic, but yeah, we're working on a couple of things, such as, for example, new Christmas themed countdown advent calendar things. I've said this out loud now. I still don't know if it's going to be executed. It's not 100% sure, but I'm pretty confident it might happen this year, and therefore we definitely need some space. Plus, I'm also introducing some other new things next month and the month after, so I just need shelving space, and I want to have a good old spring clean. So if you could help me rehome some skeins from our backstock at a reduced price rate, that would be lovely. And at the same time, I thought it's a good opportunity to offer some reduced skeins before we have to increase a couple of things price-wise. So yeah, the backstock sale will also go live with the collection, so it's not going to be reduced before that, but as soon as the collection hits, it's going to be automatically applied at checkout. So you will see the discounted prices. You should see the discounted prices straight away and know which base is going to be discounted. So yeah, I just thought this is a bit nicer than having a random sale in between collections, so you can actually prepare and have everything shipped together, like things from the new collection and from the backstock sale. You can have it all shipped in one go and save a bit on shipping. So that's what I thought. So the backstock sale with 20% off selected bases will go live with the collection and the limited edition onyx yarn and our new new linen collections. So yeah, I guess that is everything about this collection. Oh, I should also mention about the onyx yarn. I know that a lot of people are very into whenever I have a dark colored yarn. So sometimes they go surprisingly fast. If you're into this, I'm going to put all stock from this yarn. I'm going to put everything up now. There is not going to be a second batch or anything. So if you're into this yarn, it's sounds very bad, now or never, no, but it's actually just available in this collection. I'm going to put everything up that I have because I don't have a very big batch. So yeah, that's how it's going to work. And yeah, lastly, I wanted to share, because I now mentioned it briefly already, that I'm thinking of doing an advent calendar this year. And I have been struggling with this topic for a really long time because I did not really agree with how things are going about having advent calendars on sale in like February, March. And although I do understand that it kind of it's a lot of work and it's a lot of money that you have to put out up front, I understand that some people have to do it that way, and I'm not judging or anything. I just don't feel comfortable myself collecting customers' money that early in the year and then delivering later in the year. So, however, I'm just trying to navigate how I can do this project because yeah, other dyers spoke about this in depth, and it's not an easy project to do, but I've been asked since 2019. I am getting requests for making advent calendars, so I'm thinking how I can execute it, and that's why I currently have a bit of a questionnaire poll type of thing that is open, and you can reply to that one until the 11th of May, I think. And I'm actually going to, like, every entry into the questionnaire is entering a giveaway of a 30 € gift card for my shop. So I really appreciate everyone giving your opinion about some of the things that would really, really help me to navigate this huge project that just requires a ton of planning and is also a bit daunting because, yeah, you don't want to mess this up because you're gonna end up with lots of work that can't be sold at another time of the year or anything. So yeah, for me it's quite daunting to do, and there are a lot of factors going into the planning. So if you could help me by filling out the questionnaire and letting me know what your preferences are, that's really appreciated. Like, I'm really so thankful for every single one who replied to the questionnaire so far already. And as mentioned, I will draw a winner of the gift card after the questionnaire is closed, and I hope that this will maybe give back a little bit. But yeah, everyone who answers this, you have to put your email. Please make sure that you don't have a typo in your email, because this is going to be the way I can contact you. But yeah, just you can just put in your email and I will draw a winner after the 11th and send out the gift card. So every entry counts, and every entry also tremendously helps me executing this project. So yeah, I'm going to link the questionnaire down below. If you could fill it in, that would be highly, highly appreciated. Thank you so, so much. I really want to make sure that I can make a really good project out of this and a really great calendar that would both be fitting, obviously, my values and how I like to do things, but also meet your expectations and what you like in something. So I really, really appreciate any kind of input here. But yeah, I guess that brings me to the end of this episode. I can't wait to share more about my trip with you soon in some podcast episodes. I really, really hope I will be able to record them in the next 2 weeks. So stay tuned for that, and maybe subscribe to my channel if you like, and put the little notification button on, because that will tell you whenever I upload. So yeah. Other than that, please feel warmly welcome to sign up for my newsletter, where I will share a lot of nice things and always keep you in the loop about what's going on behind the scenes. And especially with all the cool new projects launching this summer, I just thought it's a good idea to maybe sign up and stay in the loop if that sounds exciting to you. Right, I guess that is it for today's episode. Please feel free to email me if you have any further questions. My email is linked down below and it's hello@woollandtwine.com. And yeah, without further ado, I'm going to end this episode by wishing you a wonderful couple of spring days, a lovely weekend, and speak to you soon. Bye.